Do you really have problems? Like not having a job or enough salary, being in a toxic relationship, or not achieving your goals? Or maybe this has been caused by patterns of your behavior. Let's look into this through the lens of Stoicism.
First, I'll start by sharing my general idea about the Stoicism. I will read quotes from my work, which I don't know yet will it become a novel or not. However, I'm happy to tell you that I have already finished my one novel and about to finish another one. Now let's begin. I have wrote the original in Georgian. Here is the translation.
Recently, the Socratic perception of the world, and among them the ideas of Marcus Aurelius, have become close to me. That is, Stoicism has interested me. Also, I have discovered several shortcomings in this philosophical doctrine. First, I do not believe that Socrates could have doubted the existence of a creator. Also, this is not known for certain. But the ethical issues he developed are deeply moral. Second, I do not share the opinion that you cannot change others. Also, this is true in some way. You cannot correct someone if they do not have the desire to improve themselves, even if they have been suffering all of their lives. But I believe that you can certainly make a sinful person want to correct themselves if you show them your own example, and this can only be achieved through the coincidence of words and actions. Believe me, I have been convinced of the truth of this opinion more than once. I will say more. It is also your duty to make out another's shortcomings if you discover them, because turning a blind eye to someone else's mistake would be as much a crime against God as covering a murderer's hand would be for justice. Any action or word should be imbued with dignity and push a person towards betterment. Now let's continue with the most important insight. Nevertheless, I discovered a lot of ideas that I shared. For example, I was fascinated by the worldview that there are no other problems except health, and any hardships or achievements are solely the result of your own decisions and actions. So there is no point in complaining about them. Any problem can be solved, but sometimes a compromise is needed. In order to get something, you must be able to give something. You will be happy if you correctly select your priorities. To give something second-rate and receive most important. Are you dissatisfied with your salary? They give you pennies in exchange of hard work, and it's too late for you to change your profession because you're too old? When choosing a specialty in your youth, you didn't correctly foresee its demand in the future. Even if you started working in another field, it still doesn't make sense, because in this country, labor is not appreciated, and an economic crisis is unthinkable. Moving to another developed country to live is complete nonsense, right? Because you're a patriot. But let's think for a moment. Whose choice was to study at a particular faculty? In middle age, someone complained about their material well-being but did nothing to improve the situation because they had no sense. And leaving their homeland is unthinkable, because nostalgia will make them worse off than being homeless. So let's think again. If you love your job or at least prefer another profession and therefore you do not give it up for a high salary, it means that this is a priority for you. That is, you prefer your life to wealth. You could work in the same field, say in America, and get much higher salary, but you did not do this. Why? Because the land and water where you spend your childhood are more precious to you than prosperity. So why do you complain about your misfortune which does not exist and is your own desire and choice, your own priority? Why do you not respect yourself and your decisions? If you know that you prefer teaching to being a doctor, for example, or your own home to a foreign environment, and your choice to be who you are stems from your own interests, wouldn't you be more unhappy if you had made a different choice? Your misfortune is not the fault of the government, nor of society, nor of God. It is your decision to be disappointed just because you choose what seemed more important to you. And the unfavorable result is just a sacrifice that you made to do the desired thing. And now you are unhappy. Everything is the result of your decision, and why do you forget that you made it, taking into account your aspirations and interests? There are no ideal conditions in this world. To be honest, the world is completely messed up. There is no ideal conditions in this world, so you can only find something better for yourself. And when you do this, do not even dare to focus on the insignificant minus, or dare, but fix it. The reason for disappointment and despair is only that sometimes people forget the priorities that led to this particular decision, or even worse, if they forget this when making the decision, and sacrifice their own desires and dreams for insignificant circumstances just because something is associated with happiness in society. Being happy is choice, because happy people do not necessarily have everything best. They are simply able to see the best in what they have. Jamal Karchadze. You will only feel joy if you learn to be grateful, first to the Creator and then to yourself. Yes, you should be grateful to yourself and respect the decisions you made to uphold your own values. But if you see that a particular choice did not work out and something else was important to you, for example, older people often realize that focusing on career and success didn't make them happy, and they in reality needed family and warmth. If you find yourself in this situation, then instead of complaining, learn from your mistakes and correct them.
If before turning on this video you thought that you had absolutely no control over your life, I hope that you change your mind, because only you can be the master of your emotions, therefore the master of your life. There is your goal. Now shoot it.